Hi there, I'm Chris, this is Talking Sundoku Blues. Today, I'm continuing my series on Superman the Man of Steel with Volume 2. This is written and drawn by John Byrne, also Marv Wolfman, Jerry Ordway, Carl Kessel, and others. And let me just confirm that yes, this volume does contain the two-part issue, the notorious issues, where Superman and Big Barda engage in the perverted arts. Soupy and Bardy make a porno. Yes, that is in here, so we'll get into that. Patience, my friend, patience. But actually, there are a lot of good stories in here as well, so I want to talk about that. And one other thing, in the notorious issue, one of my favorite characters makes an appearance. That is Mr. Miracle. As you can see here, I have the Lego figure of Mr. Miracle. He's pretty awesome. I do like the character of Mr. Miracle so much. That does not excuse this entire storyline with Big Barda and Superman doing what they do. But, you know, I'm always happy to see Mr. Miracle in anything. And another thing I'd like to actually recommend is the Mr. Miracle series by Tom King, which is a really interesting take on the character from a couple years ago. So check that out if you have a chance. And let's get into it. Alright, here's the cover of Volume 2. You can see Superman looks like a pro wrestling image of Superman with the Legion of Superheroes. On the back, Superman Reborn. Yeah, this volume has got the shit kicked out of it when it was sent here. International shipping can be a bitch. Under the dust jacket, Superman and Clash on the back there. From the very first story, Superman with Lois Lane. Or is she? The table of contents. The first two issues are Superman 5 and 6, and then The Adventures of Superman, 429, and then Action Comics 588, and Action Comics 589, back to Superman 7. So it kind of jumps all over the place, but it's basically got those three titles, Superman, The Adventures of Superman, and Action Comics, all running simultaneously, just like the other volumes. There's more table of contents and an introduction. I know you're probably waiting for me to talk about this issue, but I'm going to go chronologically, so you're just going to have to wait. This issue begins with a wacky mummy story, robot mummy, as a matter of fact. Wait till you get to Volume 3, it gets much weirder. Superman and Wonder Woman kicking some robo-dog's ass, and I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the horniest volume of Superman of the four. I don't know what John Byrne was on, or he was just sexually frustrated at this time, but there's a lot of crazy stuff in here. Lex Luthor's here in a diner just like randomly hitting on waitresses, like offering to pay them a bunch of money to just go away with him and do vile things. Oh man, John Byrne. Are you okay, man? Now, I know John Byrne's kind of a horrible bastard in real life, but I try to separate the art from the artist. Clark Kent's so upset by his dream that he doesn't even shave his face. So, Superman also does not shave his face. Flies down to the southern hemisphere to see what Lois Lane is up to. This is a pretty cool idea, like, especially for back in the day, you know, Indiana Jonesy kind of idea where, like, you have this ancient temple, and then deep below it is this non-human technology, alien technology that's been there for 100,000 years. They go investigating. Watch out, here comes the robo-space mummy. And wackiness ensues. How is Clark Kent gonna get him out of this one? The next story in here has Lois Lane interviewing Dr. Faulkner. This is Lois Lane and Dr. Faulkner. They're in their radiation suits, talking about bioenergy. I love how these suits are like, they look like the spacesuits from Darkside. So you're saying we really have nothing to worry about here? Not even from this smoking panel? And then inevitably, it's all gonna go wrong. Giving birth to a new villain known as Rampage. His hair looks like X-Men inspired. It kind of looks like Storm fangirl. So who is Rampage? Is it Lois Lane? Is it Dr. Faulkner? Is it someone else? Is it both of them combined? All she can say is "arr" and "her." And she's just gonna keep growing stronger until she explodes. Kind of like She-Hulk? Nah, not really like She-Hulk. Visually, maybe like She-Hulk. Oh, the wackiness. I mentioned this when I talked about Volume 1, but I do really like how Clark Kent grapples with being Superman, and he really can't decide, like when Perry White gets angry at him, saying that, he's lost 5 assignments. What the hell is happening to Kent? Clark has to sort of do damage control. And I like this version of Superman where the emphasis is both on Clark Kent and Superman, rather than just mainly Superman. Whereas in the early ones, Clark Kent was pretty much neglected. It's really half and half. And I like to see Clark Kent in the real world screwing up because he has to go save people, and he can't always get his stories done on time. A week passes, and life, as it always does, goes on. Clark prepares for his parents' anniversary while trying to cover all his assignments. By Tuesday, his best intentions are blown as he finds himself battling alongside the Green Lantern Corps. That evening, he misses a date with Catherine Grant in order to save a small village in Brazil. On Wednesday, an interview with UN delegate Sasha Yorvis is missed. On Thursday, Superman finds himself in battle with a woman called Rampage. And you don't want to know what happened on Friday. Well, yes, I do. So it's this aspect of John Byrne that I actually enjoy. His writing is cheesy, it's goofy, it throws back to the golden age and is very tongue-in-cheek at times. Pow, bam, sock, whap. But I like the struggle. I like the struggle to maintain both identities. Also, while Clark tries to be a good son, minor spoilers, he does miss his parents' 49th anniversary, and it hurts him. And I like this too because, while he's battling these ridiculous villains like Mammoth, people are whispering about him. But his parents understand. After all, they're the parents of Superman. And also in these kinds of scenes, they show that Clark Kent is not perfect. He does miss important family moments, and, they worry about him. And I like this characterization of the Kents very much. Why do I still feel lousy? I guess I've finally proven to myself that I can't be 2 people at once. The next issue's plot is like straight out of a B horror movie. Better dying through chemistry. Clark Kent and Lois Lane standing on a small catwalk above a giant vat of chemicals that are just open. And you know what's gonna happen. One of them's gonna take the plunge. I was a little bit confused by the scene, whether Clark just leaned on the railing too hard or whether he actually was testing it and it just broke. But basically he falls into the vat of chemicals and something starts to happen. Come on, Clark, we'd better get you washed off before you mutate into a turtle or something. And as goofy as this story was, I did appreciate the fact that it throws back to Crisis on Infinite Earths. There was this supervillain thing called Chemo. Not the best name for a supervillain, but anyway. It fought the Doom Patrol, it fought Negative Woman, but then its homeworld was destroyed in the merging of all the Earths, and somehow its essence managed to survive in this vat of chemicals. When Clark fell in, his dead skin cells activated it, and so now you have Super Chemo. Basically Chemo with Superman's abilities. Oh yeah, and you also have the Metal Men. The goofy Metal Men. So Superman and the Metal Men have to team up to stop Super Chemo. And there's not really that much to say about this story. I just like the wacky kind of B-movie plot. So cheesy, so fun. I know, I'm getting to the Mr. Miracle, Big Barda, and Superman perverted arts stories. Don't worry. Thank you for being patient. I gotta say here, now in the middle of the book, that I'm not a big fan of the Legion of Superheroes, and I was fine with John Byrne retconning Superboy, that he never existed, that Superman was never... I shouldn't say never existed, but Superman was never Superboy. And I was totally fine with that. But then here we go, some more multiverse wackiness. The Legion of Superheroes, I just don't really care about them that much. They get in their time bubble, they go a-traveling. Except they go backwards in time, accidentally. Because I guess when you're moving through time, you don't know which direction you're going. This guy, Mon-El, is pushing the bubble the wrong direction, and then there's the time storms are happening. I do like this art. Brainy, I can't even see the time bubble anymore. Everything's gone insane. Yes, I like it when everything goes insane. And I'm not going to go into the story so much, but basically, at the end of time, there's the Time Trapper, who I actually really like, partly because I just really like his costume. Raggedy, hooded, cloaked figure, just kind of awesome. But anyway, the Time Trapper has created a pocket universe where Superboy is still alive after the Crisis on Infinite Earths, and Superman ends up going there. This Time Trapper really reminds me of like cartoon supervillains from the 80s, like Saturday morning cartoons. They do like a big flashback to the old days, which, sorry, I just don't really care that much. One thing that did make me laugh in a tee-hee kind of way is there's this comet flying by Earth, and then Krypto is chasing it like Earth dogs chase cars, and he's having fun. Another kind of bonkers issue in here is like the Joker makes an appearance in Metropolis. This is, when I think of John Byrne's writing, I often think of like, it's like the golden age updated. Like, yes, it's 1980s, but then it's like, the stories themselves feel so silly at times. It's like, this kind of idea, I'm sure, seemed to be cheesy even in the 80s. A lot of it is updated, but it's like, I don't know, the heart of it is just cheeseball. Like, Superman just walking down the street, walks into a diamond exchange. There's some kind of trouble, Superman? Superman? Of course, there's that grin. What in the world is going on? Not only that wackiness, but then Clark Kent is able to hear the alarm for the diamond exchange from like how far across town? The silent alarm, no less. So he meets this other Superman who's just holding the diamond in his hand. And then, I love this. His hand pops off. Huh? He's some kind of robot. Well, nice move, pal, but I can catch your flying hand faster than... Oh no! That's a thermonuclear bomb. It's nice that his chest just opens to show that. And then also it looks weird. It looks like a can of peaches or something. It's nice that it says, like, on it that it's radioactive. And this is some bad art right here, too. It's like, I don't know. It's like it's almost like they just drew the same pose twice. And like, he's supposed to be flying. They just changed the background. No sense of movement. No sense of, like, dramatic flight. Like, the robot just doesn't even move. And the capes are not even, like, really fluttering that hard, even though he's flying as fast as he possibly can to get the nuclear bomb away from Metropolis. And then when it explodes, it's just a bunch of pixels. Hey, I like pixel art as much as the next guy, but I mean, I don't know about this. All right, let's get this over with. A walk on the dark side. Big Barda finds herself wandering around. She's in downtown Metropolis, and she thinks it's almost worse than Apocalypse. She gets hit on by a pimp who offers to take care of her, if you know what I mean. Dude steals her purse, and inside is her mega rod. Oh, the jokes I could make talking about the mega rod. I'm just gonna skip that one. And basically, she chases this guy down into the sewers where these weird pink tentacles, yes, I said tentacles, grab him, and then Sleaze gets a hold of the mega rod. Sleaze kind of reminded me of like a Marvel type character. I feel like he's kind of like a demented X-Men villain or something. And Big Barda changes into her warrior gear. She's nearly invulnerable, but somehow Sleaze manages to get the better of her. And already with that expression and the hand on the thigh there, man, John Byrne, you horny bastard. And Clark Kent's investigating these people who are over 100 years old in this nursing home. So in trying to investigate why these people are living unnaturally long, Superman finds out that there's this kind of radiation all over this area. And right beneath him, topless Big Barda, rocking out in the sewers to a boombox. This issue would be actually kind of awesome if it wasn't for all the horrible things that are to come. I wanted to enjoy this kind of schlocky crap, but it just steps over the line too many times. So then as she's dancing for him, Sleaze tells his sob story of getting kicked out of Apocalypse because he was too sleazy even for Darkside. Superman shows up. Heroically, the lady said no. It's off to a good start. Gets the Mega Rod back. But Superman himself is kind of horny because he's still dreaming of Wonder Woman. If you remember in that first issue, Superman has a thing for Wonder Woman. He has that dream. And I think he's still kind of lusting after her because he's like, you might be Wonder Woman under all that glop. I'm called Big Barda, Superman. Barda, the wife of Scott Free, Mr. Miracle. And then she changes into her warrior armor. Wow. You know, Superman getting excited. They fight, and Barda, for whatever reason, thinks that Superman is a pawn of Sleaze, so she zaps him with the Mega Rod, and now he's out of it. But despite Barda being an excellent warrior and one of Darkside's formerly finest. She loses the Mega Rod right out of her hand into the tentacle, at which point Sleaze pulls on the trapdoor, which they happen to be standing right over, and they go on down. Why does Sleaze have a trapdoor in the sewer? Why were they standing right on top of it? Yeah, it's fine. And then the notorious of the notorious. The worst of the worst. Now granted, I was still into it at this point. You know, it's wacky and it's creepy and it's, you know, topless Big Barda dancing for Sleaze. I was fine with it. But it's this issue, number 593, where everything really goes off the rails. And I was excited because I saw Mr. Miracle there. And as I said in the intro, I'm a big fan of Mr. Miracle, and I thought, this looks kind of interesting. Little did I know how terrible this was going to turn out. Starts off pretty cool. Mr. Miracle has to unlock his front door by doing a series of puzzles. After all, he's an escape artist. And you can see scot-free himself with Oberon. And I love this. Hi, honey, we're home. Barda? She's not here. This is Scott? Darkside just having a glass of brandy, sitting in the easy chair. All right, let's skip ahead a little bit here. Oh no, Darkside's got the sex tape. And they watch together, Mr. Miracle becoming ever more horrified. Things just go from bad to worse. And then Sleaze actually goes and meets with a porn director, and he tries to sell him the tape. He's got Superman there, like brainwashed, smashes the desk. Barda comes in wearing a bikini, or I guess that's her underwear. Come on, Mr. Miracle, hurry up, you gotta save him. But the damage has already been done. For some reason, it goes into a little bit of a flashback of like the first Mr. Miracle, and then scot-free. He's got his mother box on his arm there. And this is also weird, like he's like attacked by just street hooligans, and they chain him up, throw him in a bag, throw him in a dumpster, cover him with garbage, weld it shut, and throw him in the water. Garbage, more garbage. Ugh, and then the awful. The director starts directing, but Superman's will can't be broken, I guess, even though later it says that his will was broken, so I'm not really sure like which it is. Poor scot-free. This is the last thing that you want to see. Your woman and Superman, and the porn director and Sleaze. Good God. This is also so sexual too. Don't break my concentration, Scott. The ash crawler has only one weak spot. The tiny organ which functions as its brain. Tiny organ, huh? To get to it, I must reach past the writhing tentacles and force my hand into the living flesh of the... There! Good God. Anyone that tells you that this is not an innuendo or a metaphor for something, yeah, there's no way to deny. John Byrne, what the hell were you thinking? And still the worst is yet to come. Superman, you tried to stop me attacking Sleaze when you first arrived. Why? I'm afraid I can't give you an answer on that one, Barda, because the story had to happen, right? You'll just have to take my word for it that my actions were well-intentioned. Mr. Miracle, I guess we can do that, Superman. But then, this is the part that's just, I feel like, is the most unnecessary. But Barda, my memory of what happened while we were under Sleaze's control is foggy. But it seems I mean you and I, say no more, Superman. My recollection is as clouded as your own. I think it for the best we leave it that way. So not only did Superman and Big Barda engage in the perverted arts, as they say, but Barda committed adultery on Scott. It boils down to sexual assault, even if, you know, they were under mind control. But it's, yeah, I wish that this story had been reframed. Well, I kind of wish this story hadn't happened at all, even though the cynic in me likes to see this kind of really weird comics history. But I feel like this story could have been reframed where, you know, Mr. Miracle could have gotten there in time. He could have stopped them. He could have been the one to destroy Sleaze. I don't know. It could have been done maybe a little more tactfully, but... Oh yeah, and there's one more story in here where this like tall, dark, and handsome random guy asks Lois Lane to marry him and then immediately turns her into a mannequin. It ends up being the first appearance of Mr. Mxyzptlk. Mr. Mxyzptlk. Mr. Mxyzptlk. Try saying that 5 times fast. Oh, the wackiness. This kind of thing was like actually kind of hard to read after like the Barda and Mr. Miracle story. All right, ultra goofy now. Mr. Mxyzptlk is the sprite from the 5th dimension. He makes the Daily Planet building come alive, and then they make it cry, and it creates a waterfall in Metropolis. Yeah. Alright, here at the end of the video, Mr. Miracle and I would just like to say thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again.